Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Rossi. Today we are going to make a still life. Let's get started. For your still life, you are going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, an eraser, and something to color with. Today I'm going to use watercolors and crayons. You can also use markers or colored pencils or any material you have available at your house to color it in. If you don't have anything to color yours in with, you can just trace it in a marker and leave it black and white. That is fine. So today we're drawing a still life. A still life is a work of art showing a collection of inanimate objects, meaning things that aren't alive or moving. Many artists will draw things like bowls of fruit or vases of flowers, and they're typically drawn while looking at them. So you'd sit with a bowl of fruit in front of you and draw what you see. What I'm going to show you how to draw today is a vase of flowers. If you want to create a different kind of still life and draw something from your house that is an arrangement of objects, you can do that. If you want to draw a bowl of fruit that you have at your house, or your own vase of flowers, or a collection of books or toys, and sit there and draw it from life, you can do that. That is perfectly fine. Yours does not have to look like mine this week. You can just make sure you're drawing a still life. Today I'm going to be drawing a vase of tulips, so I will show you how to draw a vase, and I will show you how to use your colors to add things like shadows and highlights. So we have a lot of options when it comes to drawing our vase with flowers. So I'm going to start my drawing using pencil. I'm going to do a couple different vase shapes so you guys can get an idea of what kind of vase you can draw. You can do something that has a curvy line at top and swirls down where it goes in and then comes back out and make your vase that kind of shape. A very simple vase where it might just be round at the top and then curve all the way down. Or you can do more of like a pot shape, like your flowers are sitting in a pot that is outside. So I'm going to do a rectangular top and then a rectangle bottom where it kind of gets a little bit smaller towards the bottom, like that. Like I said, your vase does not have to look like mine, so you can pick whatever kind of shape you would like to do for your vase. I'm going to leave mine like this, and I'm going to start drawing my tulips. So tulips have a very round top. They're a very simple flower to draw because you can use simple shapes like ovals and half circles. And then they have these big green leaves. So I'm going to start by drawing a couple of stems for my tulips. So I'm going to do a couple of skinny lines coming out from my pot. I don't want them to go all the way to the top or all the way to the edge of my paper because I want to leave enough space for me to draw the actual flowers at the end. You can have your stems curving or going straight up, and you can decide how many you would like in your pot. I think it's interesting when they crisscross. I think I'm going to do 5 today. If you want to do more, you can do more. If you want to do less, that is okay too. So now I know where each of my flowers is going to go at the end of my stems. I'm going to start with this one right in the middle. Since I have a lot of space for it, it's going to be easiest for me to draw. Now there's a bunch of different ways you can draw flowers. I'm going to start this tulip by just doing an oval shape where my oval is skinnier at the top and rounder at the bottom. Just like that. So that's going to be a petal that is facing me. So it's fully flat, and I can add some petals coming off the edge by doing little round shapes, almost like ear shapes coming off the sides like that. And if you want your flower to have more petals that are visible in the back, you can even do another little round shape back there. And that is one of my flowers done. Now I can switch up these shapes as I go into my other stems here. I can draw ones that maybe aren't as open and they are more round buds that haven't bloomed yet. And I can draw ones that have even more petals. Maybe I want one that has spiky petals. So maybe for this one, I'm going to do pointy at the top. And instead of going up towards the center, I'm going out towards the side. So I can do 2 of these pointy petals out towards the side. And then I can add a couple more pointy shapes in the background. I think I'm going to add another one that looks similar to this one. Maybe right here is again going to be nice and big and round at the bottom and a little more narrow at the top. And I'm going to put petals that look a little bit more closed on this one. So I'm not going to go out as far as I did on there. I'm just going to make almost like a C shape on the edge of this one on this side. And I will add, I think this one that's going to be more behind my big flower. I'm just going to do one big oval as if it is one that has not yet bloomed. And I'm just going to add one little petal on this side there. And for my last one, I'll do another one that has pointier ends. So I'm going to go up and out and curve back down. The same thing on this side. Making sure it goes behind this petal that I drew, because this flower is more in the foreground and this one's going to be more in the background. I can tell because this stem is going behind this flower that I already drew, and the bud on this flower is behind that one. So I know this one's going to be the furthermost or most behind flower that I have. And I could even draw one more back there if I want. It is up to you. If you want some petals that have fallen off of your flowers, you can just do another one of those pointy flower shapes down towards the ground. I'm going to draw a line from my pot to the edge of my paper to show where the ground is. So my pot is not just floating in space. Now that I finished drawing my flowers, my tulips need some leaves. So I'm going to add all different kinds of leaves all around my pot. So your leaves can be coming off of your stem as big, round, pointy, almost football shaped leaves. Or you can have your leaves coming out of the dirt. So if you want another round one coming out of the dirt here, you can have it cross over your stem and then go over the edge of your vase to show that it is overlapping that or coming over that. And I'm actually going to make this edge overlap that other leaf so it looks like it's even more in the front. I'm going to add some other leaves coming out and up towards the top. You can add however many leaves you'd like, or however few leaves you would like. I think I want a leaf coming over from this flower and coming down towards the front of my pot. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to create a curve starting at the edge of my pot and going up. I'm going to fold that over by going across horizontally, and then I'm going to bend it down to a point, and then to bring this line all the way up so it really looks folded. There we go. And I'm just going to add some more leaves in and out of my stems here, so you can decide where you want your leaves coming out from the front, where you want them behind your other flowers. We spent a lot of time drawing these flowers, so you don't really want to fully cover them, but it's nice to add leaves throughout your picture. Having them overlap each other and the other flowers does a great job of creating space in your picture. So don't be afraid to cover certain things up and move them around. You can have big leaves and you can have small leaves. It's up to you. Okay, so I think that's going to be enough leaves for my picture. Now that I'm finished drawing with my pencil, I'm going to put my pencil and my eraser to the side. Today I'm going to use crayons and watercolors to color my picture in. You can use whatever you have at home to color your picture. You do not have to use watercolors and crayons. You can use markers or colored pencils or any type of material you have at home to color your picture in. I'm going to do almost like a crayon and watercolor resist, where I'm going to outline all of my lines with my crayon. So then when I start to do my watercolor, it's not going to overlap and my colors aren't going to blend where I don't want them to blend. I think I'm going to use a black crayon to outline my picture today. You can use any color you'd like to outline your picture. If you are not coloring your picture in, you can just outline it and leave it like that if you don't have anything to color with at home. I'm going to go in and outline all of my lines with my black crayon. You can use any dark color really. I think the black's going to make it pop nicely, and it's going to act as a resist when I start to use my watercolor. I went in and I traced over all of my pencil lines with my crayon, and then when I was finished I went back with my pencil very carefully and I erased any pencil lines that I might have missed. I had to be extra careful because my eraser could smudge my crayon a little bit, so I wanted to be super careful while I was going around those crayon lines trying to erase my pencil. The next thing I'm going to do is paint my tulips. Since I have so many warm colors in my palette, I think I'm going to use some warm colors to make my tulips by using some reds, oranges, and yellows. And I'm going to stick to my cool colors for my leaves and for my background. So I want to create some different values. So in areas where I have shadows happening, where the light might not be hitting it, I'm going to use my darker colors. And in areas where the sun is hitting it, or areas where I think my petals might be a little bit lighter, I'm going to use my lighter colors. I'm going to start by going in with my light colors. No matter what kind of material you're using to color in your picture, it's always easiest to go lightest to darkest, because you can always make something darker, but it's kind of tricky to make something lighter when you're using different supplies like markers and crayons. It doesn't really work too well. So I'm starting by making the tops of my flowers a light yellow, then I'm going in with a little bit of a darker yellow that's more of an orangey color, and then I'm going to go in with my real orangey color and just let those blend together. If I was using crayons or markers to color in my flowers, I would color in the entire petal, my lightest color first, and then go back in with my dark color and just color right over the top of what I had that was light there. I'm just using a little bit of water to mix my colors together, and I think that's going to look good. Now I'm going to do the same thing on all of my other flowers. So I'm going in with my light colors first. I'm picturing my sun, I think, coming from over there. And you want to remember which flowers are in front of and which flowers are behind your other flowers, so you know where your shadows are going to be and where your darker colors are going to be. I'm going to add a lot more yellow than I would on my flower that's back there. That's going to be more in the shadows. And since I outlined my flowers in crayon, the watercolors that I'm using inside my flowers aren't spreading out to the rest of my paper. I'm just going to go in with my smaller paintbrush and add a little bit of water to blend my colors together. Now that I'm done with my flowers on the tops, I'm going to start to do their stems. So I'm going to keep my skinny brush, and I'm going to use my greens and blues to color in my flowers. So anywhere where I want there to be a highlight, I'm going to use this light green color. Then I have my darker green, and then my blue is going to be for my darkest areas, I think. So mostly the tops of my flower, or the tops of my leaves, are going to get my light green color. You can even add a little bit of yellow in here if you want your green to be really bright. And I'm going to do the same thing on my leaves as I'm doing on my stems. I'm going to go in with my darker green now and go back in and start to add a medium tone. Since we have our lightest tone for our highlights, we need a nice medium as a transitioning color. And I am even bringing my medium colored green in towards the bottom where my stems are meeting my leaves, because I think it's going to make it nice and dark down there where our shadows are hitting. And then this folded leaf, I am making that nice and dark in there. So now I'm going to go in with my blue to create an even deeper shadow in certain areas. Now I don't want my leaves to really look blue, so I'm going to mix a little bit of my green in with my dark blue to create like a darker green. And those are going to be my leaves and my stems all finished. Now I'm just going to go in, I'm going to paint my pot brown. I'm going to use a little bit of light brown and some dark brown since I have these two colors in my palette here. And then I'm going to paint my background so I can pick whatever color I want for the ground and whatever color I want for the wall. And I'm just adding in my purple in all the big spaces to start with my big brush. And then I'm going to go in with my smaller paintbrush and get in between my flowers. I'm going to make sure my background is darker on this side since the light is coming from the opposite side to help with that illusion. And that is my Tulip Still Life all finished. Like I said, yours does not have to be done in watercolor. You can use any material you have at home to color in your picture. If you don't have anything to color with, if you can just outline yours in Sharpie or pen or something besides a pencil, that is fine too. What we really just wanted to focus on was layering our shapes and creating a still life that shows depth and space through our overlapping shapes. And we did that with our stems and our leaves and even our flowers. Once you are finished, please take a picture of your project and share it with me on your Google Doc. I can't wait to see the amazing work you guys create. Have fun, try your best, and get creative. Bye!